Once upon a time, in a bustling city, there lived a young man named Daniel. Every morning, Daniel took the same subway route to his office. But one morning, everything changed. He sat down heavily on the crowded train, his tie askew, his spirits low. His phone buzzed with a message that made his heart sink. It read, "We regret to inform you that your position has been terminated, effective immediately." As if on cue, the train screeched to a halt in the middle of a tunnel. The lights flickered out, plunging the carriage into darkness. The sound of a baby crying echoed around them. Daniel buried his face in his hands and whispered, "Why me? Why today?" Beside him sat an old woman. She was calmly selling hand-woven bracelets. Her wrinkled hands clutched a small bronze compass. Its face was unusual, pointing not north but marked with 4 letters, G, A, S, C. She sensed his despair and asked softly, "Bad day, son?" Daniel sighed, explaining about his job and his sudden predicament. The old woman smiled knowingly. "Then maybe it's time you learn to use this," she said, pressing the compass into his palm. "A compass?" he asked, confused. She chuckled. "Not for directions in the world, but in the heart. G is gratitude. A is acceptance. S is service, and C is curiosity. Whenever life traps you, choose one direction. That's how you'll find happiness, even here," she said, nodding towards the dark tunnel. The lights flickered back on. The train lurched forward. When Daniel looked up, the old woman was gone, leaving behind only the warm bronze compass. Daniel's first instinct was denial. "This can't be happening. I was a good employee," he thought, but the compass needle trembled and pointed clearly at A, acceptance. So he whispered to himself, "I lost my job. That's real. Fighting it won't change it." A strange calm replaced the storm within him. He still felt the pain, but it was lighter, like a stone dropped into a stream, still making ripples but not crashing waves. When he arrived home, instead of collapsing into self-pity, he told himself, "Okay, today is hard, but it's not the end." That's acceptance. The next morning, Daniel sat at the kitchen table with black coffee. Bills stared back at him. Anxiety rose like fire. He pulled out the compass. This time the needle pointed at G, gratitude. "Grateful for what? Losing my job," he scoffed, but he forced himself to list 3 things. A roof still over his head, his sister Emma, who always believed in him, and the warmth of coffee in his hand. Surprisingly, his shoulders loosened. Gratitude didn't erase his problems, but it shifted the weight so he could stand straighter. Over the next few weeks, Daniel faced many challenges. Some days were hard, but he found solace in the compass. He discovered that. S, service, helped him find purpose in helping others. Curiosity led him to rediscover old hobbies or explore new ones. And when nothing seemed to help, A, acceptance, allowed him to find peace in the present moment. One day, while walking, he spotted a group of children playing. They cheered as they chased each other, their laughter echoing in the streets. Daniel couldn't help but smile. He realized that even though his situation hadn't changed, he felt happier than he had in months. As the months passed, Daniel continued to navigate life's ups and downs using the compass. Then, one day, a storm hit. His mother fell ill and needed expensive treatment. The savings he had left evaporated. Fear returned. He clenched the compass, whispering angrily, "What now? How can I be happy in this?" The needle spun, then landed firmly on A, acceptance. Daniel breathed. He couldn't heal his mother overnight or conjure money instantly, but he could accept the moment and focus on what he could do. Care for her, be present. Each night at the hospital, he held her hand, drawing small pictures to make her smile. Slowly, his mother began to recover. Looking back, Daniel realized that those difficult times had taught him more about life and happiness than any other period. He understood that true happiness wasn't about circumstances, but about choices. Gratitude helped him appreciate the little things. Acceptance gave him peace amidst the chaos. Service gave him purpose. Curiosity helped him find joy in everyday life. Years later, Daniel bumped into the old woman again. Overjoyed to see her, he rushed to her, wanting to express his gratitude. But she simply smiled, knowing that he had found his own direction. Before parting ways, Daniel promised to pay it forward, to help others find their own happiness. From then on, whenever Daniel saw someone struggling, he gifted them the compass, guiding them towards a life filled with gratitude, acceptance, service, and curiosity. Because he knew that these weren't just words, but life-changing directions. And so the old woman's compass continued to guide hearts, ensuring that her wisdom lived on through the lives she touched. And that, dear friends, is the story of Daniel and the compass. If you enjoyed this tale, please don't forget to share it with others. Until next time.